Today, we're just going to go over just how to get most out of sharing, especially with co-editing. If you're not familiar with co-editing, we're going to go through that today to show how easy it is to collaborate with your clients. So we're going to create some shares and create shares with security in mind. So we'll go through that. We'll also get a document signed through, of course, our other product called Right Signature, just to show how easy it is, again, to collaborate with your clients and get something signed. Then we're going to touch on Citrix files for Windows. If you're not familiar with Citrix files, that's our desktop application that helps integrate to easily access your data and to be able to share directly through your desktop. So it's a really cool application. We want to kind of show that off a lot more and to show how easy, again, it is to collaborate with your clients. And then finally, we're going to go over something called file drop and remote upload forms. Again, if you're not familiar with that, it's an easy way to also create a code for your website so that users can go directly to a website of your desire and upload things to you. Just again, another way that, of course, you can receive files from your clients if you're requesting them. Just remember, with ShareFile, we're not just sharing files, we're also receiving them as well. So it is a two-way capable product. All right, so most of you may be familiar with, of course, how to log into ShareFile. As you can see here, I'm directly accessing my ShareFile account using my domain that I have created at the top there. Yours should be actually similar. So if you want to follow along, definitely jump into your ShareFile account. If you have an account, log in, and you should be at the dashboard where I'm at right now. So we're going to go across a couple things. The first I want to show, and you might, again, be familiar with this, but I want to showcase how we create some shares and create request links. This way, just kind of kicking off things to collaborate with your clients. So the first thing I'm going to do is over on the right-hand side, which I love the most, is our shortcuts. So you can directly get to things that you need. And what we're going to first choose is to share. Now, we do have, of course, various different options here. Let's reduce down a couple of them so that you get a better understanding of them. First off, we have the two options here is email with Citrix, which, by the way, we're going to be changing some of this logo. It's going to be email with ShareFile from now on. But we also have get a link. So two methods to create a share to send documents out, one directly through email, just like you would email somebody through Outlook or whatever email client you're using. And then get a link creates a shortcut basically for you to create a link so that you could copy that link and put it into your own email or through some other chat application like Teams to be able to communicate to your clients for them to access that data. We do have a feedback and approval. This is for our workflow option. We're not going to go through that today. And then finally, send for signature. That is something we're going through today and show how to get a document signed very easily. So let's kind of start out here real quick and go through emailing with ShareFile. So first thing we're going to come up to is we're going to choose a person that we're going to send this to. Now, we do have an address book here, so you can look for individuals that are already in the system. As you can see, we have our associate Tepe that's already in my address book here that I can send to. But with this, I can actually just put in anybody's email address in. Now, they don't have to be in the system already. They could be somebody that you're first working with externally from your own company, and you need to send them something. For this instance, we're going to use Cord's email address because we're actually going to do some co-editing together. As you can see, I just put his email address in. And also, I do want to show how, of course, the email looks. So I'm going to put another recipient in, and this is just my Gmail account for testing. And then we're just going to come in and put a few things. So we're going to co-edit together on this document here. First, before I send this out and choose a file to share, I'm going to jump into our edit message options. And this is where, of course, the security and the different capabilities of ShareFile really highlight how we do our sharing, how we can secure that. So a couple things to go off the bat here. The first option here, we do have encrypt email. With this option, we can actually encrypt the body of the message of an email so that the recipients that are receiving it are the only ones that could decrypt it and be able to access that share. Now, of course, your data with us, it's already, of course, secure. It's already encrypted. This just adds another additional layer to security in terms of being sure that no one else is able to, say, access that share or that data that you're sending out to people. So with that, we can always check it. If you don't need it, that's fine, we move on. And the first thing you're gonna choose here is allow the recipients to. This is telling us what they are allowed to do in terms of how we're sharing this document, right? Now, for this option here, we actually are going to use the view and download and edit option. Now, this does require a sign-in from, say, our recipients here, because this is going to require them the ability to edit. So when I send this over to Cord, he'll be able to log in and jump in and co-edit with me. And then down below here, we have an access expires. So this is actually expiring the link that I'm going to be creating here. This is not going to delete the data that I have within ShareFile or what I'm sharing with the recipients. This is simply going to expire the link that we're sending out. So for this instance, of course, I can come in here and say it's urgent, and I don't want them to access it after, say, a day. So I can drop this down to a day. And then finally, we do have notifications. So this can actually send me a copy of that share. And also, I can be notified when, say, Cord actually opens this document and is able to download and edit it. So these are great notifications just to tell you that, hey, they did get the share and they are able to access it. So we can actually do this one. Now, I can either drag and drop a file from my desktop locally, or I can actually choose something from ShareFile. And I actually have something in ShareFile that I can share with him directly, which is a Word document that I want us both to work on live. With this, of course, it's only going to be based on live editing with any kind of Office document, things like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Those things we are allowed to be able to live edit with. So I'm going to choose a Word document, and I'm going to send this off. Now, once this is sent off, Cord should be able to actually get a link to what I actually sent him, and that is our offer letter here. So say, for instance, again, we communicated, as you saw that message, I was saying, hey, let's co-edit. So that's indicating to him, hey, we should maybe edit this document together. We need to go through a couple things instead of us talking over the phone to edit things or to correct things, or say, for instance, he needs to edit something and pass it back to me. We can actually do this live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this document. That will open up my document here. And as soon as Cord logs in, we'll actually see his name pop up over to the right. Now, while he is doing that, I just want to show you just how it kind of looks like when it comes into me as a client. So as you can see, I got that message for myself that I sent. I have my logo and I have my message here. And what I can actually do is let's open that link. Once that opens, it's going to open that document just like how I opened it here. But again, the same experience is going to happen on the client side. If they were a client that didn't actually have a login, it will step them through creating their client account. Remember, a client account isn't a licensed user when it comes to ShareFile. A client account is somebody that I'm just working with externally that needs access to what I'm sharing with them. Since they're not a licensed user, they might not have, of course, all the different features a licensed ShareFile user will have. But again, in this particular instance, I can come in here and edit. And Cord should be almost done getting his going here.
Yep, I'm almost there.
All right, perfect. Now, this is a living document. That's the great thing about co-editing, is that I actually don't need to sit here and save it all the time. As you can see on the top left side, it does say save to ShareFile. So meaning any kind of revisions I'm making here, it is actually saving real time. That's going to save a lot of headaches. Because again, obviously, saving a document on your desktop, making changes, sending it back to Cord, that's taking a lot of time in between. They also need to be sure that they're saving the right document. So that's what actually matters. And yep, as you can see up at the top right, we have Cord now, and Cord has entered. And now I can see Cord's cursor moving around, and he can start typing and making changes to the document that we're working on. Now, while he is actually making edits, I can also make comments within the document itself. There we go. Perfect. No, that's good. As you can see, that was really live. And as we can see here, let's double check the address again. The address is wrong, and as you can see, he's highlighting that and making changes. And I can actually respond back to him. So this is almost like a live chat as well, right? So again, I don't need to be on the phone with Cord doing this. We can actually pretty much chat live while doing the co-editing. Again, this works for all Office documents in terms of being able to co-edit. So again, things like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, things like that, you can actually co-edit it live with ShareFile. Awesome. So again, this is one really prime example of how we can easily collaborate with our clients. Now I'm just going to jump back over, and again, when we talked about emailing with Citrix, remember we did have a get a link as well. And this is a little different because it asks for the file directly, but we could do the same thing, either drag and drop the file into here, or we could choose from my computer and choose it from the desktop, or we could choose it from my ShareFile folder that I have already shared. And then from here, I can choose that offer letter, and that's the one that I want to choose. As you can see, it automatically creates that URL for me. So this is a unique URL that's created for the share. So I can copy that, again, put it in a different email other than emailing it directly through ShareFile, or use a chat again system to be able to send it out to somebody very easily. Same link options in terms of what you could do for get a link, but as you can see, we did have some variances in terms of what we did to actually get that link. So same security options and same capabilities when I send that share out. Now let me go back. The one last thing I wanted to show you before I turn this over to Cord is how to actually send for signature. Now this option is allowing us to jump right into getting a document signed. This will log you into your right signature console. Or if I come back, I can always directly go to your folder here, choose the folder that you have the documents in, and we're going to choose that offer letter. Done loading here. And then we have that offer letter, and then what I can do again is we can either share this out from here. Oh, I apologize, I was in the wrong one. Let me see, I have my shared services here. I apologize, I got mixed up a little bit. Yes, but we can actually share the document from here and do the right signature. What I'm going to actually do is once I clicked on signature, again, I'm going to choose from my computer that offer letter. Actually, what we can do from, yeah, let me actually choose the offer letter from here. And I am going to choose one of my documents. Now, ahead of time, we can have a template created. As you can see, I can create a template for this document if I'm going to send this out a lot. For this, though, I'm just wanting to send a single offer letter out, and we need to prepare. Now, first thing is it's going to ask you who you want to send this to. So I'm going to send this over to Cord, and we have his email address here that I'm going to paste in. Again, they don't have to be in the system already. You can integrate your contacts from ShareFile if you wanted to. For this instance, just wanted to show kind of coming from a standpoint where we don't have Cord in there or he hasn't been existing. But I can also add additional people like myself here and use my Gmail account to be able to then go to the next field. There are a lot of options here. I'm kind of skipping through, obviously, a lot. We do have right signature webinars coming up. Definitely pay attention to those where we go a lot more in depth. We do have an expert one actually coming up. But for this instance, I just want to quickly create some fields for this signature here. And I can have a text box for my printed name and then a date field. As you can see, the date field didn't actually do as well. We do have something called field detection I turned on. It tries to sort it as best as possible based on the line that you have, but you can also, of course, adjust it here. We can also require fields if we wanted to. I'm gonna just go ahead and click next to review. Again, we do have other options down below to make it a little bit more secure, but for this, I just need to get this offer letter sent out, and I need Cord and John to also, of course, get this signed. As you can see, this will run through just a little bit of a tutorial since this is a newer account, and of course I haven't sent anything from it. but this is very helpful to kind of get you started to understand the in and outs of the console and the menu that you're looking through. So now, as you can see, the people involved in my signature are Cord and John, and I can see a history that shows that I sent this document out to get signed. As you can see, a few seconds ago, it got sent over to, say, my Gmail account into Cord. And again, just to make it look, show how the client gets it, here's that offer letter. And then all I would need to do here is click on the review and sign. And once I actually open this, I can come down and get everything signed if I needed to. So Cord should be able to see that as well. Again, I didn't want to run through too much of the signing of the document. Again, we're going to have that expert class to show a little bit more of this. But wanted to show a brief way of just how easy it is to get a document sent out, how to get that offer letter signed and returned back to me. So due to time restraints, I want to be sure Cord gets in here. So Cord, if you're ready, I can pass it over to you so that you can get go over our Citrix files for Windows client.
All right.
I'm going to change the presenter to you, sir.
All right. Okay. Let's see. All right. So the first thing, to access Citrix files, the best option to start with is going to be to download the application. So once you're in your ShareFile account, all you have to do is come to the Apps button in the top right here, and then download Citrix files. I'll be using Citrix files for Windows today, but we also have it for a Mac as well. And they function almost identically. All right, so once it's downloaded and installed, all you need to do is open your File Explorer and then come down to the Citrix files. It should default to the S drive. If you already have an S drive, it will start cycling through other letters to find the correct one. And I'm just going to come into these folders here. And we're going to be working with this clients folder today. As you can see, it's empty, but I'm going to go ahead, we're going to create a folder for John in here. So just the same as if I would create a folder on my desktop normally, and just come in here, create a folder, name it John. And as you can see, these icons are going to indicate the state the folder is in. So that indicates it is syncing, and now it indicates it is created in the cloud. So I can open John's folder here, and again, it's empty, but I can go ahead and upload any files just by dragging and dropping, which we'll do in just a minute. But what I'm going to do first off is I'm going to right click here, and you can see all your Citrix files options. So if we want to share the folder, request files to the folder, make it available offline. So if I was away from the internet on a flight or something, I would have access to my files. You can access all that here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to request files from John. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose email with Citrix files, which is going to bring up our dialog box here, just the same as if you were using the web app. So I'll go ahead and put John's email address in here. And then John can upload me a file. And again, same as the web app, we have all our options in here. I'm going to go ahead and require sign in, so he has to create an account and a password. And then I'm going to set the expiration. Let's do a week. And then I don't need an email copy, but I do want to know when those files are uploaded, so I know when John has done his part of this collaboration here. So go ahead and hit save. And then I'll go ahead and do request. And John should receive an email. He'll set up his password to sign in, and then he'll be able to upload a file to the folder. And then once that file is uploaded, I will see it here automatically. So while we wait for John to do that, I was going to go ahead and show you how to manage permissions from a folder. So again, you can add users to this folder directly from in Citrix files. You don't have to go into the website. So let's go ahead into manage permissions here. As we can see, it's going to be the same permissions you would see in the web app. So we're going to go ahead, we'll add John to this folder now. So I can go ahead and here, put John's email address in. Oh, there he goes. All right, so as we can see, we have John added here. We're going to set his permissions. We want him to be able to view, download, upload. We do not want to give him the admin permission or the delete permission at this time, as he is a client user. And then we set it. We're going to let him set his own notification settings if he wants. So I'll go ahead and hit done. And as we can see, John's added here. If I wanted to remove him, I could just select here and do remove. If I wanted to notify him again that he was added, again, I could select him and do notify. It also changes permissions just as easily if I was in the web app, but I'm doing it all directly from my file explorer here. All right, so John has uploaded his file here. If we check my email, I should have received that notification. It may not have come through yet. John was working pretty fast, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, light and quick.
All right. So we have his new hire confirmation form here. So if we just open that, we should be able to access it without any issues. Assuming Word wants to load for me today. All right, we'll give that a second. It's loading up. But now if I want to upload a file, I can come over here, open another file explorer. And if I want, I can just drag this benefit elections over, and it's going to go start the upload. And then once it's uploaded, it should switch to that cloud icon. Oh, it doesn't want to do it right now. Oh, now it's taking all my notes away. All right, we'll come back to that in a minute. But as you can see here, we have John's file he uploaded, and now I can just start working on this if I needed to make changes to it. And then once I save it, it'll be uploaded back to that folder. And then John could download that file with those changes. All right, so now that I have my benefit elections form, John should receive, can go into his ShareFile account now that he's created, and he can access all these files. So if he ever needed to come back and access any of these for any reason, I wouldn't have to sit here and manually send them out. If I did want to share them though, if I wanted to share them with another employee, I could do a get a link and then paste it in a chat app. I also, again, can share them out with my Citrix Files email, or I could use my native mail app. So if I do email with mail app, it's going to prompt. It's not going to let me move this window. It'll prompt you to choose your native mail app. So if you're using Outlook, you can always choose Outlook, or if you're using Gmail, you can always choose that. And then the other option is, just like John was able to send for signature from the web app, you can send for signature now through Citrix Files. Again, all you have to do is come in here, click send for signature, and it's going to pull up your right signature account with that document loaded. And then we could continue through the normal process here to prepare the document. Go ahead and put John's email in here. Place our fields. I'm just going to do an import overlay. I've been working with this document before. Oh wait, it won't let me do it on this one. Never mind. Wrong account. So I'm just going to place a simple signature field here, and then we'll just go to review. Just as normal, we have all our options here for all our different settings. So we could set the expiration if we wanted to adjust that. We could add tags, passcodes, use KBA if needed. So we just go ahead and do send. And then John can sign that document just as normal. And then once it's signed, it will come back here with the /sign.pdf extension, and we can then access that signed document through here. Never have to go into Right Signature and download that. It's all going to be in the folder, directly accessible through your desktop. All right. I think that was everything I was going to cover. Yep, there's the benefit election certificate, so we know John has completed his signature there. Go ahead and open that.
While we're on it, can we talk a little bit more about KBA? I know you mentioned it, but I know it is accounting season, as we all know. Hot topic is always KBA.
Yeah, so KBA is going to be used for specific tax purposes. What it will do is when the document is accessed to be signed, it will prompt for a series of personally identifying questions that the signer will then need to fill out to fully identify themselves. So it'll be like past addresses, that sort of thing. But it's only used for, I think, the 8879 form for tax documents primarily. But yeah, so.
We have an article for it as well.
Yes, we do have support articles.
It's clear instructions on how to use
but
it.
yeah, if you're sending 8879 forms, you need to make sure you're using KBA to be compliant with the IRS regulations for e-sign. All right, I think, John, it was back to you now.
Yep, back to me. And let me make myself back as a presenter and to show my screen. All right. Cord, can you see this? Cord, can you see my screen?
Yeah, can you hear?
Okay.
Yep,
perfect. All right, sounds good. All right, so the last thing we wanted to touch on today was going through a file drop and remote form. We actually have a cool capability that you might not be aware of. It's administrative settings, so you would need to be an administrator to access the setting up of these two options, and I'm going to go through them. If you're not an administrator on this call, definitely if you think this is a feature that, of course, can help with collaborating with your clients, reach out to whoever is administrator in your ShareFile account, and they'll be able to help set that up with you. Now, also, if these two options, as you can see, what I did is I went down into settings, admin settings, and went into remote upload and forms. If you don't see these as an administrator, you may need to open up a support ticket for us to actually get that enabled for you. Or if you have somebody like us, a customer success engineer, reach out to us and we can actually take a look at those as well. But let me jump right into the remote upload forms. So the remote upload forms allows you to create a simple form, just like you saw there in terms of uploading data, just like how I uploaded data over to, or a document over to Cord's instance. We can actually put a form on your website so that you can actually direct your clients to go there to upload that data either to a particular folder or to a file drop, which I'm going to go through the file drop as well. But just to kind of showcase how easy it is to set one of these up, I can create a new form here. And all we would have here is to set up a description. We'll choose a folder or a file drop. Again, I'll go over the file drop option here in a minute, and we'll come back to this. But the folder option here allows you to choose a folder to where that data is going to be uploaded to. So say, for instance, you created a website and you created a temporary page for, say, tax season, and you wanted your clients to, of course, go there and just upload, of course, their documents. Again, we can actually get a little fancier with file drop to choose who to send this to. But for this instance, if I just wanted to drop this into, say, a folder under customer one, and of course, they're doing taxes 2023 in here, I could choose that folder. And I can actually choose a return URL. So once they finish uploading, it'll redirect them back to a different site if you want to. And also, I can request uploader information and I can add custom fields. So, like, for instance, if we needed your tax ID when we're submitting a file, for them to understand what that file entails. So this information can easily be looked at and audited and understood that that file belongs to, say, Mr. John Doe, right? If they upload it and they put their information in. But we can require additional fields here for whatever you need to actually specify when they're uploading. But easy as that, I can do a save and get code. And this will get me my HTML code that I can simply paste into my web page. Of course, you'll definitely want to go over to your web administrator, whoever manages your website, to do this. And you can just put your code on your website. Just to show how this kind of looks in real time, I used a little editor here online, and this is how it will actually display. Of course, This would be wildly different from your website. You can add, of course, the different coloring and branding and everything to it to make obviously look official. You can also put it, say, behind like a paywall or an additional authentication to even get to this page, right? So there are a lot of different ways to do that, but again, at least this is an easy landing page to direct your clients to upload that data to that drops into that folder, right? So they would just put in the required fields, and as you can see, I put a field here that asks for a file ID. So there could be like a processing firm that requires a file ID attached to the file that you're uploading to. So there's a lot of kind of cool things that you can do here in terms of required information that you're going to want once they upload that data. But all you could do here is you could drag and drop files into it. And for this instance, we could just kind of fill this stuff out. And we don't require anything in this field. I didn't make it required because, as you can see on that box before, we can actually come back and you can actually require a field to be filled in. So that's what I'm kind of talking about on that part. But again, I can simply choose drag and drop or choose the file that I want to upload, and then I can upload it. It'll drop into that folder that I chose. So on the flip side, we have something called file drop. File drop is essentially a way to have a public site that is created for you that you can direct your clients to, and you could choose who is available that you can send the documents to. And then we kind of put that in perspective here. I can create a new file drop. 2, 3. A couple options here is you could select a recipient from dropdown. That's what we want to do. We want to have multiple recipients that the client has a choice to send to. Say, for instance, again, if we're a CPA firm, there's different accountants within this firm, and you need to send it to a particular accountant that you're working with. I can select the different recipients from the dropdown. I can require user information just like how we did in the remote form. And I want to make this public. Now, I already have a public one. You can make additional file drops if you needed to, but there only could be one public one. And the public side means it can be publicly accessed, and I'll show you that in a minute. So the next option here is it's going to ask you who to choose from a dropdown when I want to send somebody something. So I'm just going to choose myself and Tepe, and I'm going to save. Now, I already have one created here, and I can get the direct link. And this is my one public page, so I can simply go to that. And again, this could be something that you put on your, say, your link, your signature with this link, or put it somewhere on your website, so that if they need to actually send something to you, they'll get sent over to this link. And then again, I'm just going to fill out some of the required fields like we chose. And then as you can see, we have our recipient drop down. So what that does is, you see, I chose myself and Tepe as the recipients. So if I chose myself here and I chose a file, just a test file, and upload, that will send it over to John or my ShareFile account directly, and it'll go into the file box of my account. This isn't the same account that I sent it on. Actually, I believe I did send it to this same account. Yes, it did. Okay. So as you can see on my file box here, I have that test, of course, document that I uploaded, but also via email, I'm going to be notified so that when that does come in, I'm going to bring my email over here. And a notification will come to me that basically somebody has sent me a file in the file box, what it is and who it was generated by, the creator. Of course, that's myself, but I can simply click that link and it's going to open that file for me, or I can simply come to my file box and see that I have that document waiting for me. So again, these are just some really cool ways to be able to just have the ability to collaborate with your clients in an easier way. If you didn't want to go through the ways of choosing a request link and sending that out, you want something a little bit more permanent, these are the ways that you actually want to take it. Now, I did want to go back to one other option here on the remote upload forms, where when I created that new upload form, whenever there's that option for file drop. So this is integrating the ability to post that code on your website And instead of choosing a folder for everything to go to, I'm going to actually choose the file drop. And I have my John's file drop. And again, I have the different capabilities of the different fields. Now, again, that file drop integrates so that when I do put this code onto the site, when you get to that, you'll still have the drop down in terms of choosing the recipients you're going to send that to. So if you understand, again, between the folder option where I'm just choosing a folder where all that data is going to be dumped to, or I can choose the file drop option, and then again, that client will be allowed to choose the recipient they want to upload that data to. So again, very easy way to, again, collaborate with your clients in a more meaningful way, have it a little bit more customized on your website, so it's easier to direct them to their website. They might be familiar with your website, and this is just a simple way to get, of course, a way or a form on your website to be able to upload data to you on your ShareFile.